What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. It's been a very long time. I'm still trading. Yes, I've just sort of not really been posting about it. I've been traveling and busy with university, which is finished now, so that's very nice. But I thought, what better way to get back into it, or posting about trading at least, than starting a new series where all I do is just post a quick video about a trade I took. And I'm going to try do every single trade, win or lose, and just see what happens. Um, so this is the first trade of the series, which was a win. And we took this on Tuesday. So it's now Thursday, right? So, and I haven't taken anything else for the week. So that's what we're going to do. And I hope you guys enjoy. So let's get into it. We're going to break it down from the very start, from sort of the high time frames, all the way down to the entry, how I manage it. And if you guys have been watching me, it's very similar to how I usually trade, just clean breakouts, looking to see if price can continue into clean ranges. So let's break it down. We're on replay mode over here, and we'll go back and look at this from a high time frame perspective. We'll go back maybe a bit more. So let's have a look at this and see where we are. So we're on Euro AUD. This is on the 4-hour time frame. We can see sort of price has obviously in an uptrend, right? It's pushing new highs. And then we have this big rejection back down to this sort of 4-hour level over here, right? And a lot of people say this is obviously just a break and retest and it's going to continue up, right? And it very well may be, but what most people don't sort of realize is you don't have to sort of trade with the market all the time or against the market all the time. It just depends on what time frames you're trading and if you can sort of manipulate your risk and how you trade into that framework. So if we can see here, there's nothing to say this big 4-hour close bearish, right? So if there's a good chance we're at least going to see some pushback into these sort of levels, even if we then continue bullish, right? And we can take advantage of that. It's much easier for me to trade with the current momentum of the session I'm going into, right? So you can see this one is about 1 a.m. London, New York time, pardon me. So we're moving into London session. And for this session, I have a bearish bias, right? Even though the previous daily closed bullish, which is this one over here, we have a bullish close. The current session I'm trading still has more of a bearish bias to me because we're pushing into these bearish ranges, right? Doesn't mean the end of the day we're going to close bearish. It means that for me, there's a higher chance in these next couple of hours that we're going to see this new 4-hour open, maybe create a top wick, and then continue down before it at least continues up or not, right? And that's what we're trying to take advantage of. So scale down to the hourly, where you can see we have this sort of nice new high being created over here. Then we come back down and sort of retest back into these levels. Okay, so again, if we can start seeing price do something like this on the lower time frames, break into this range below here, where you can see we have some nice clean range, right? That is what I try to do. That's all I try to do. Look for these nice ranges that are with the momentum, right? Now you'll notice here, we have this little area over here, and that's just the gap up, right? That was the Monday open. It sort of opened with a gap down, pardon me, not gap up. And we have this level over here, right? Now, I'm not massively concerned about this level because even if price was to reject this level, right, we can see we've passed through these ranges quite clearly in the past, right? Clean range, clean range. So it's more sort of over here is where we start seeing that resistance. That's a messy line, but I think you get the idea, right? So I'm sort of treating this as a level to watch, but I'm not too concerned about it because it's that gap down and there's no real level of support down here. It's more sort of just a gap up, more sort of randomness in the market. Okay, so if we go down to the 15-minute time frame, we can see again we have these very nice clean ranges where we've moved through once, twice, 3 times. If we scroll back, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, right? So that's just probability in action, right? If we move into these ranges again, there's a better chance than not we're going to see these same sort of strong moves, which we've previously seen. Like, look at this nice little breakout into this clean range. you have momentum, and you're just looking to capitalize on that, right? That's all we're trying to do. So if we see over here, this is what we wanted, some sort of support being formed before a break below, right? And this is the level I'm looking for us to break below, this strong level of support over here. You can see previously tapped into these levels, failed, right? Failed. So this is obviously a clear level where if we break below, there's a good chance then we can see some of that momentum kick in, right? Again, here you can see obviously a very strong level in the market with all these rejections. Even here, when price broke above, it came back, tapped back into this level, right? So obviously quite a strong level. So we can get rid of this. This is sort of the higher time frame level. And now we know, okay, the 4 hour is in our direction, right? The 4 hour is bearish. We can clearly see this strong bearish momentum, right? And until we see evidence of price changing that momentum, changing that direction, for me, this just says if we start breaking below these levels, there's a good chance we're going to continue this momentum, right? We're not trying to pick the bottom, right? I'm not just going to say we're at support, so let's buy, right? I'm going to wait and I'm going to see what price is doing. Now, if you want to blabbering a bit here, right? But if you want to trade higher time frame, you can see, okay, we've sort of pushed up into this level. And if we think about the daily, it's going to be the same sort of scenario, right? The daily is going to be pushing up, we're pushing back to this level. And what can we do? We can look to buy sort of back into these areas if we see that evidence, right? But for now, we're looking at sells. So let's play it a little bit forward. We can see we form a little bit more of a support here. We try to push up, fail, and then we get the breakout, right? So we're pushing back into these levels. We can see again, we have this level over here, but again, I'm not too worried about this level since it is just a gap down, okay? Another thing, if we scale down to the 5-minute time frame, we can see I have really nice structure, right? So we have evidence of price pushing down, failing to get back up, 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 right? So it's clear evidence that price is sort of showing us this lower low, lower high structure, and we can sort of just run with that. And the other thing is this gives us a really nice secure level to place our stop loss, right? So for me, I'm looking to put my stop somewhere above or in this area. For me, I just use the previous 15-minute high. Right now, if you want to be safe, you can use the sort of 5-minute structure. But for me, I said we have enough momentum. I'm going to go a bit more aggressive on this, and I'm going to try use the previous 15-minute structure. And again, if you look on the 1-minute time frame, it all sort of connects together. You can see there's some little structure here which you can use as well, right? But the safer bet is obviously just above here. But I thought we had good momentum. So let's see, it's currently 5:15 New York time, so heading into that pre-London session. And if we look at our targets, obviously we have this level down here, right, where we've seen sort of price reject before. You can see again here, rejection. So this is obviously that level where if we start pushing down into, that's maybe an area where we can take profit. Another thing to know here, look at this, right? So we have these two little wicks down here. Let me just highlight that, which you can see over there. And obviously that's going to be some sort of resistance or support on the lower time frames. So if you look at the 5-minute time frame, you can see over here, that's that sort of double wick down we had over there, right? So over here, we can see, okay, we have a little extra level where if we start pushing down into, we've had some reactions to before. Okay, so we can see over here, more reactions here. If we scroll back, yeah, so it definitely is a level. You can see there's quite a lot of reactions to this level. So if we want to be aggressive, that's an area we can look to TP at. Okay, so let's see what happens. And as you can see, if we just play it forward, first 15-minute candle is a nice push down, right? So let's see how we manage this trade if we scale down to the lower time frames. So you can see 5-minute time frame came down, rejected a little bit. At this stage, what's the point of going break even, right? So if you see this 5-minute push down, there's no need to go break even, right? You're not really pushing into any levels where you're seeing rejection. you're just cutting the trade, right? You got to accept that you could be wrong. Okay, so this finally have that nice close below structure. More evidence price is going to continue down. So if you want to be aggressive, you can sort of trail your stop to these highs over here. But for me, I just left it. I wanted to see what price was doing. And, you know, when you're in this position, it's nice because you can control the trade. You can tell yourself, if I start seeing, you know, sort of strong rejections back up here and we see sort of structure form on the lower time frame, maybe on the 1 minute, that's when we can say, okay, maybe this is just grabbing liquidity, but it's not a risk I'm willing to take. Okay, so what happens next is the 5 minute sort of wicks up, tries to push back into my entry, but fails. So if you see on the 1 minute time frame, it's just going to be like a nice sort of retest, lower high structure, and then we continue down. Okay, so once this 5 minute closed, and then we had the new 5 minute open up, create a wick, and push down, that's where I went break even. So you can see there, another wick, another rejection. So here I said, let's go break even. Okay, and we are approaching this 5 minute level as well. So we're pushing down, and at this stage, I didn't see any structure on the 1 minute time frame, right? So it just kept pushing, it kept pushing. We tapped into this previous 5 minute level, where if you were very quick and you wanted to TP, you really could, right? I'm just going to put this back up so we can see where our stop loss originally was. Okay, and it was about 11 pips. Yes, so at this stage, I was like, let's just see what it does. If it sort of taps into this level and instantly rejects, I'm happy to get a break even. But I'm liking the momentum, and the 1 minute time frame rejected this level straight away. So I was like, all right, let's see what happens. Okay. Now, big thing for me here is we close this 15 minute time frame with no bottom wick, and that usually means a retracement. Something I'm not exactly 100% sure why it happens, but I've just noticed, and I'm sure some people may see the same thing. When you have no bottom wick or top wick, price usually sort of retraces quite heavily, or at least starts ranging, right? It may be a sign that the market is sort of pushed too heavily, needs to retrace, but it's also just, I don't know, it's just random things that happen in the market. So at this stage, I was looking, yeah, I'm happy to close. We're already at a sort of 1 to 1.3. I was looking to close. All I did was scale to the 1 minute time frame, and I was like, all right, what's the harm in sort of trailing our stop to sort of this level over here, where at that stage we'll be at a 1 to 0.96, right? So I'm happy with that sort of sacrifice to try and get a bit bigger of a profit, right? And we can see we sort of retest a little bit. And as soon as price broke below these levels over here, we just retrace a little bit. I trailed my stop to just over here. And then we got stopped out just like that. So that was it. Very simple trade. Nothing else can really be said. And here you can see sort of that no bottom wick. You have a little push down, but in the end, you sort of start coming back up, which is interesting. Something I'm not exactly sure why it happens, but you can see here, this is what I was talking about before, right? If you look at the higher time frames now, you can see price sort of came down into these levels and then had that big retest back down here and then pushed all the way back up. You can see with this sort of hourly wick all the way up to here, right? So that's a big level where if you're trading, for instance, the hourly, where you can look to take profit, right? So this is an interesting structure. It sort of pushes down to this deeper level over here. We have a nice bullish candle, and this is a trade I take very often on the lower time frames. I just wait for a high to be formed, pull back, nice sort of support formed, and then you can look to buy. But for me, I was taking my trade and I was happy with it. But in the end, we sort of formed this nice head shoulder pattern and we ended continuing bearish. So yeah, that was a trade. Hope you guys enjoyed.